This is it. 6 years. For 6 years, the United States has ruled the Osu World Cup. They have been unstoppable. A dynasty unlike anything this tournament has ever seen. Time and time again, they've stood at the very top, lifting the trophy and proving they were untouchable. But tonight, they are fighting for survival. Knocked from the upper bracket again. The defending champions now face their toughest test yet. This match is no longer about dominance. This is about pride, legacy, and the motivation to climb back to the top. Once, and only once before, has Australia made it this far. They are a team chasing history, shattering expectations, reaching heights and performances that they have never seen before. But they are not done yet. Not even close. For Australia, this is their shot at the grand finals. A chance to show everyone, the world, that they can go toe-to-toe with the greatest team this mode has ever known. The stakes of this match are everything. For the winner, it's a chance at redemption and a ticket straight back to the grand finals. For the loser, it all ends here, taking home 3rd place. A respectable finish, but not the glory that these teams have fought for relentlessly. The reigning champions, the rising stars, a legacy on the line and a dream within reach. And the story is far from over. Welcome, everybody, to the Osu World Cup Grand Finals Weekend 3rd place match. I will be Chilier Pear, one of your casters today, joined by the ever-talented Dio and Azer. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. It's time for the last weekend of the tournament. It's time for the second to last match of the tournament. The United States versus Australia. The United States are in the losers bracket in Grand Finals weekend for the 3rd year in a row. This is the first time in a very, very long time, since 2017, I believe, that the United States has lost in winners finals and then had to go through the losers bracket. And these two teams are amazing as well. Australia, as you said, it's their 2nd time in the top 3 whatsoever. They're looking to establish themselves as that next level up, as one of those perpetual top 3 teams, and the United States are looking to keep the streak going. It's going to be an awesome match. Both of these teams are absolutely ridiculous. You just look at the rosters on this screen and you already know this is going to be an amazing match. I'm super excited to be here.
Me too, man. This is there's a lot of questions that are going to be answered today. I think a lot of things on people's minds. You know, I think the storylines changed a little bit. I mean, usually we're only kind of talking about Korea and the US, but Australia's been creeping up, honestly. I think it's definitely the closest it's ever been, I think. I don't think anybody can realistically determine a winner, like, on paper for either this match or whoever wins against Korea. I think this is going to be a really, really exciting weekend. And, man, it's good to be here. We're finally here. It's the main event, everybody.
We've made it. And with Australia's performance in previous weeks, I mean, we've seen just absolute dominance from this team and the entire roster on not only double time, which they took 4 out of 4 of just weekends ago, now moving into a grand finals pool that a lot of teams have thought is quite the difficulty jump moving into this match. And I'm kind of interested in the thoughts from you two on how that may affect our two teams here.
I've got a lot to say about the pool, so you can go ahead first if you want, Dio.
Sure. The thing for me about this pool is, while I think on paper this looks like a very hard pool, and I do think this is the hardest pool that we've had in OWC so far, I don't think this is too out there in terms of difficulty. A lot of these players are returning players from A, last year's OWC, B, from lots of community tournaments throughout the year where we've seen extremely similar rosters play on pools that are harder than this. So for these two teams and for all three teams in the Grand Finals weekend, I think these are still going to be very doable pools for them. There may be some maps that are low average score, but I think this is going to be a pool that these teams are able to tackle.
Yeah, even just last week on the finals pool, which was definitely easier than this one, there's still a couple of maps where it looked a little bit like maybe got fourth man on a couple of them. But outside of that, I mean, everyone was able to show up on every single map, so I don't doubt that any of these three remaining countries are going to be able to field 4 players for just about everything. We are going to be getting into bans, so we'll quickly touch on those, because it's actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of maps here I think that you'd expect. However, they haven't really been banned in the past. I think when people look at Australia, they'll definitely think of them being as a mechanics or a DT team most of the time. But when they've faced each other a lot, the USA hasn't really been banning those. They've opted to ban a lot of everything else. However, okay, this is the first time they're going to change it up, because last time around they banned the non-DT speed picks. This time, maybe they go a little bit too hard. These two DT picks in particular are pretty speedy. So full speed bans on the USA side here, only DT, and Australia answering with pretty much the two most control, low AR reading picks of the pool here with Snowdrive and Yume Nikki, which are maybe the two hardest maps of the pool, I would say. You touch a little bit on the difficulty of this pool and how absurd it may seem. I think that tends to be pretty localized within a couple of maps, which 2 of them just got banned. So maybe good for the optics of this. I think maybe the players will feel more confident if they're able to spend some more time playing on the maps that are more playable to them, so we'll have to see. But yeah, Hidden 2, Fremont 2, big maps to watch out for if they're open in the next match after this one.
And I think I'm kind of with you there, Alex. I mean, we may actually have seen 3 of the hardest maps banned in this pool. Not only are Hidden 2 and Fremont 2 some of the most difficult, but I would say Wind God Girl is a very polarizing map, if not one of the most difficult. The level of stamina required for that map at this BPM with this level of pressure on the players ends up making that map quite a bit more difficult, I think, than it seems when you're going through it. And even though it is difficult to start off with, it is one of those maps that is going to be very telling between these two teams and with how Australia has performed on stamina and speed and double time as of recent. The United States just doesn't want to take their chances of letting all 4 double time maps slip away like they did in previous weekends. And Australia an avenue into a map like this, because they'll find it and they'll take it. And we've got our first 2 rosters out here for the United States and Australia.
Comma in for this.
Yes, Kama not playing too many maps so far in the tournament, but I think a couple of maps here in the grand finals should be very good for Kama. Same for Bashi. Unfortunately, didn't get to play a map last week. We're hoping to see him in for the United States this week as well. But to start things off, Dekaten, Rektagon, Utami, Kama looking to take the break point from Australia. The Aussies with mrekk, XIchedelic, ASecretBox, and Sayo. 3 of their core members here for Australia playing nearly every map for this opening pick on the double time one. A couple of early breaks here as Bancho gets us off to a little bit of a split start here to start things out. XIchedelic with an early drop to Kate and Utami, Kama all breaking during that first jump chain. XIchedelic will follow it up right afterwards, but it's 3 full combos for the Aussies, still intact a third of the way through the map. This is a very short pick as well. Only 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and it's mrekk, ASecretBox, and Sayo all still holding on to these FCs. Dekaten and XIchedelic will trade once again, but it's only Rektagon to hold anything together for the United States. And there he goes as well, and Australia, actually completely collapse halfway through, but there's just not that much combo on the side of the United States. I think the score they built up here at this point should be enough of a buffer to guarantee they at least get to the ending with the score lead still on their side.
Combos are matched up. The breaks have come out. It's only Utami versus XIchedelic right now, and XIchedelic finds the break. It's 200,000 combo. We've got just under a quarter of the way left in the map. It's 400 combo for the returning holder for the United States, and Dio, it's going back!
It's going back quickly, but is there enough time? There's just a little bit of map left and 130,000 score lead, and there goes Utami. He had to hold if the United States wanted to take this, and that's not going to be the case. They will not find their avenue into this first pick from Australia. It's a 1-0 start from the Aussies on their first pick, and we have ourselves a match. I think a lot of the expectations for this match would be Australia picks everything fast and tends to win it, and that DT1 first pick, it's not a speed map. That is pure aim. 300 BPM, yes. AR 10.5, yes, but pure aim. 0 tapping. And they still come out with a win, so it bodes well for the pick strategy for the second seed overall in this match.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty important mention to say about Sayo.
There it is.
This was one of the maps that we have no information on. There's never been a map like this in OWC, so this should be a pretty interesting one, honestly. Don't know which way this is going to go. However, it is worth noting. There's a couple things worth noting with this one. First off, mods are actually pretty easy on this one. Specifically Hidden, you could argue for a lot of these players, Hidden is actually going to be easier than no mod. So just for reading purposes. I might actually be expecting an over mod, maybe on the side of USA. I mean, Takedo and Utami are kind of known to both swap hiddens all the time on free mods, so I could definitely see that on their side here as well. And even on Hard Rock, honestly, it's not too bad, but it does add a lot of difficulty, so I'm not sure who we'll be seeing on that, but safe assumption that it's probably going to be Rektagon and Box or something on the Hard Rocks here, so.
What are your thoughts with the style of this map, especially, going through and having this put through? Like, if you had to describe this free mod 3 in like 3 to 5 words, what would it be?
It's so creative. I don't think, I mean, it's like the most definition, it's like a redefinition of what a pattern map is, pretty much. We've really never seen a map like this before, so it's pretty interesting. It is all pattern, I guess, cube aim, square aim, we could say.
I
It's not really grid,
saw squares, yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the whole map. But it looks really crazy. It's definitely one of the easier maps in this pool, I think. In terms of scoring, there's a lot of sections in here that are pretty easy to hold through, no matter if you're modding this or not. So I'm expecting some pretty high performances, and I think this has also a lot of potential for pop-offs to happen here. This might be the one pre-mod pick where mods will definitely still have a good chance. I think a lot of the other ones, you're definitely tanking no matter where you're taking. That's kind of like expected in grand finals. But for this one, I think all 8 players on the board for a good score here.
I mean, playing this map with Hard Rock, I would say quite difficult. That's really, kind of the definition of what I would say is a pop-off map. With all of the gimmick that the United States has available to them in this pool, this is absolutely the one where you're looking for a star player to potentially step up. And
there it is. Okay, wait. What does Box have? Oh my god, 8 mods?
Word!
8 mods. No one is no-modding this?
What?
I can see it. AR 9.2,
What?
3.1. Object density too high. Let me put on the Hard Rock.
Throwing down here in the 3rd place match. We're only on pick number 2, and we're seeing 8 total mods and 6 total Hard Rocks. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I think it just makes sense here, and while it's not a fantastic start from the United States, it's still looking very good for Australia out the gate here. Tommy, Kama, and Taquito all finding breaks in this intro section. It's only Sayo to match on the side of Australia. Akins in for his first map here for the Aussies as well, taking that one hidden. SecretBox on the Hard Rock, mrekk on the Hard Rock, Sayo on the Hard Rock for them. And right now is combo lead for Australia, but this is a very volatile map. These types of patterns are very easy to chain miss, even if you know what's coming. The spacing on some of these, paired with the overlapping double back patterns, can make it very easy to miss. And there go a couple of people, Rekka and Akins, right before this first KI time.
Rekka finding that combo break is actually the last full combo available on the United States, and with Kama dropping there, that leaves Utami once again fighting all by himself. And that's Box, Sayo, and mrekk all sitting with ridiculous combos right now. But we've got plenty of map left to go, not even to the halfway point, but Australia starting off super strong in the United States thing.
Yeah, Box will miss at the end of that first KI time. It's halfway through now, but still the FC for mrekk, still the reverse choke for Sayo. Utami the only big combo for the United States, but good recovery on everyone right now. Kama, Taquito, Rekka, all at least matching Akins. There goes Kama. SecretBox will trade it, but that's a favorable trade for Australia. But there goes mrekk. The number 1 player in the world is down. Sayo now the only FC left for the side of Australia. It's Utami on this massive recovery reverse choke. Taquito and Rekka to back him up with 500 combo each going into the ending. And it's looking very similar to the last map, Chillier. A 230,000 score lead for Australia, but still a third of the map to go for the United States. And even though Taquito misses there on the hidden, Utami now actually also down. And suddenly the combo lead is back to Australia here. Rekka's the only one with any combo for the United States, but it's just not going to matter. Sayo is still holding this reverse choke, 1200 combo into this map, into the ending he goes, and the score lead even bigger for Australia than before. The misses from everyone else don't matter at all at this point. Rekka is down, and Sayo is still somehow holding this combo. They're going to take a break point on the United States first pick, and Australia is going to start off the losers finals 2-0.
Sayo, 1 Hard Rock player out of 6, and the last one to stand by a margin of over 1,300 combo. The squares, the sliders, the reverses, the spacing, everything. It's so easy. He finally breaks, but that's 950,000 scored for Sayo, and Australia crushes the dreams of the United States on map 2.
Did we really just see this? Almost a Hard Rock FC on this map is not... I don't think this was in anybody's cards. Probably not from Sayo as well.
How do you predict that? Where does this come from? Like, out of all of it, and I would like to know, you know, we've seen a lot about this pool online, whether it's in the channel, whether it's on social media, otherwise, about how difficult this pool is. And we didn't hear much from Australia about this pool. We basically got one comment from mrekk saying that the pool was fun, and we had no information going into this. So to see this level of mastery is the only word I can use to describe that gameplay from Sayo. Gives me such high hopes for the remainder of this match. Unfortunately for the United States, though, it came at the expense of their opening pick of this match. And yes, there is a lot left for them in here, but this just proves that Australia is a skill cap team, and they came here to fight and win tonight.
This is actually insane. This is, you know, stats-wise, Sayo is not even close to being one of Australia's best players, and just this is such an absurd performance. I don't think, like, this team has mrekk, Box, Zintex, and aknzx, the #1 statistical player so far in the entire World Cup, and the other 3 being in the top 20. And Sayo is the one popping off so far. I think this might actually try to, maybe, I wonder if they try to change their plan to play around that. I mean, you have to do something about that. I mean, Sayo has played 2 maps so far, 2 out of 2, and looked really, really, really good at both of them. Way better than anybody else on both of these teams. So kind of have to wonder if they choose to play around that. They're going to go for this No Mod 5 here. A bit of an aimier speed pick, I guess, with a tiny little bit of tech elements as well. This is a little bit of an odd one because it really sounds like a speed map. It's not that much of a speed map, honestly. There's a couple bursts in this that are definitely speedy, but you can tank Ak and still play this pretty well. So I think the rosters for this are going to be pretty weird. I actually really like this pick. I think for Australia, I think they're looking to play more towards the aim. And I mean, this map will feel stylistically the most similar to DT1. It's very fast. For most part, it's just aim. So I think this is a good pick from them. I just wonder who they choose to bring in for this one. Probably in the lobby, but I don't think they're going to be playing this. But I mean, there's a couple of players we haven't seen too much of. I mean, we've seen mrekk and Box, obviously. We've seen Sayo, obviously. I don't think aknzx has entered yet. aknzx likes to play a lot of speed, so maybe he's in for this. He's also able to play a lot of aim. So I really wonder what they're going to put in, but also what USA is answering with this. I mean, maybe you can talk about this, Chillier, because you're very knowledgeable with all the American players, but I mean, I feel like they have such a crazy depth of roster with so many options for so many maps, right? Like, they've got to be able to pull out a lot of people for a map like this.
I think they've got variability on this map, and you know, there's the interesting part about this map, right? And you were kind of getting into this a little bit, right? This is not a speed map. It's speed core. So it takes that break core style of being very aim oriented with those quick sliders and the burst patterns mixed in between, and it makes it far more of a dynamic map, and that does switch up the United States' roster to the point where they do have maybe some of their more aim-focused speed players in here. Luckily, there's a lot of overlap with that for the United States, so we're still seeing the Window Life, we're still seeing Utami, Rectagon. Taquito going to be filling that last spot, again, very much more focused in on the aim and the burst level speed rather than the stamina, and that's that fill spot that you're looking for. And with Taquito as your fill, that's something you're really looking for. If that's your like least option there, that's pretty solid. And there is aknzx for Australia.
Yeah, Akin's second map of the match. Unfortunately, not having so good of a time on the hidden on the last map. So hopefully having a better time this time around on the No Mod 5. mrekk, ASecretBox, Zintex also in for this. This is the core 4 roster for Australia. These are the 4 who are in for almost every speed pick for Australia. And this map does have speed. It also has a lot of other stuff going on. You can see all the slider tech, all the aim elements in this map. So this speed core, speed tech, speed aim, whatever you want to call it, this is a different beast than something like the DT2 and DT3, and that's maybe going to manifest in this map. A couple of early breaks here, Rectagon, Taquito, and Zintex alongside ASecretBox, all finding these breaks really early on. It's still 2-2 in the full combos though. mrekk, Akins, Utami, and Window Life. Now there goes Akins. Taquito will trade it. So it's just mrekk versus Window Life and Utami for the United States. And the supporting combos for Australia are there, and they are very good. ASecretBox, now actually does find the break, was holding that second highest combo on the side of Australia, And this pick not starting out super well for the Aussies. It's Rekka, Window Life, and Utami holding these high combos and bringing the score lead to the side of the United States. But there goes Window Life, there goes aknzx, there goes mrekk, and now it's just Zintex alone against Utami and Rekka, both still holding those high combos for the United States. And it's been a solid start for Australia, but the United States, they are still the defending world champions, and they are not going to make any of these points easy.
Breakpoint early for Australia, but it certainly doesn't spell doom for the United States, holding strong. And even though the United States, usually we favor them on gimmick versus Australia based on what we've seen in previous weeks, they can still come to play on mechanics, and we're seeing it right now. But it's Rekka and Taquito up against almost no combos from Australia. Box and mrekk, the only two here, and there goes Taquito.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not going to be enough for Australia to take it back. Box would have had to hold, mrekk would have had to hold, and they would have had to see that break from Rekka all at once for this to come back. It's 270k, and even with all those breaks happening, even if everyone on Australia held combo, I'm not sure it would have been enough. This is all said and done for the United States. mrekk is going to hold this combo into the ending, and maybe we'll get to that top score in the lobby if there's enough note density here at the end, but it's still going to be a point for the United States. They're going to take that break point right back that Australia took away from them on that previous free mod 3, and United States now with the ball in their court, 1-2, but the next pick is theirs, and they're looking to tie things right back up and bring us back to an even game.
There is not a second of break in this. Have you all noticed so far how quickly we've been going through these picks? I mean, it's been pick, play, almost immediate every single time. They are wiping through the introduction of this match here in these early few picks. And in a best of 13, that clears up a lot of that extra strain that you're going to have over the course here.
It's funny you say that too, because 2 break picks so far. Usually when you start a match off like this, it's immediately you pick your strongest stuff. You already know your plan for the first couple of maps, unless something drastically has to change. But still, going in with the plan here, I mean, it's not really working out super well, but these early picks, like you said, are going really fast, and I'm really curious to see where USA really goes next after this one. I think this is a bit of a different situation here. I mean, maybe the aim not working out for Australia in the end. I mean, DT1 was still pretty close, so let's not forget that, even though they did win that one. But, I mean, still extremely early on here. There's still a lot that they could go for. I think for the US, again, I think I would like to see them play against some more of the tech parts of this pool. I think they'd be pretty good for them. But we'll see. There's a lot of things that we don't know. There's probably a lot of things that they also don't know, right? We've seen Rubik's Cube already. But there's a lot of other maps that we haven't really seen much of at all. Like this Nomad 2 original, not really a map like this in OWC yet so far. This Nomad 4 might be the new hardest map in the game to... All right, there it is, immediately. Okay, they pulls Yellow Mango. All right, this is like a reading aim gimmick pick. It's kind of crazy. I don't know how to describe this, honestly. It's absurdly dense, and some of the patterning... By the way, this is OD10. This is going to get completely forgotten if I don't mention it, but the song is OD10. Everyone's going to have really low accuracy because of it, I think, but so easy to miss on completely random patterns on this. The timing of every object, the slider velocity of every slider is just almost just there to troll you almost. Like, this is a bit of a practice map, I think, and it should be pretty interesting. Again, though, don't know who's really playing this on both sides. It's pretty impossible to... I mean, I think we'd like to see Sayo with how he's playing, and maybe Boshi would be good for this, but there might be too much aim. So I'm curious.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the biggest switch on the roster from the United States here, especially with how Australia has traditionally played Gimmick in this tournament with that core roster that they run with. I think we'll probably see maybe 2 swaps for Australia. I think the United States, we have the potential to see up to 3. I doubt we're going to see a full 4 sub out here. We're probably going to get either Taquito or Utami back, or both on this pick. My question is how they play their cards on these next 2 slots. I think Pez is going to be a great pick for them. usually one of their strongest players on these sort of gimmick slots in here. We've seen him have an absolutely fantastic time on previous maps in this sort of slot here. And like you said, Boshi might be a really good option. Finally start to see him a little bit more in these matches, and there they are. Boshi and Utami and Decaton, it seems to be in the lobby, but Pez is in the other spot for the United States here. So we are looking for two fresh faces here for the United States, both to this match and on this map. For Australia, they're actually still running with the status quo here. That core 4 makes another appearance.
I was wondering if they're going to put other people in. I mean, GGLF and Paler basically only played the Daramok reading map since semis, so I haven't really seen too many of them. Same with Boshi. We haven't seen Boshi last round at all, so we're going to be seeing him for the first time. Pez as well, I think notoriously, I think one of the players that will contest a lot of the other players on this American team. They kind of have 5 or 6 for every slot, and Pez, I think, is usually that 5th or 6th player, so it's good to see a map from him.
Here we go into map number 4, the United States second pick, looking to tie things up after taking back that breakpoint on that Nomad 5. A bit of a new faces for the United States. Still a lot of that core roster for Australia. It's an early break to start things off from Takedo, Boshiman, Utami, SecretBox, Sayo, all finding misses here early on. Just slider breaking on some of the aim patterns here. More repeated misses from Takedo and Utami. Right now, it's Zintex and mrekk holding the FCs for Australia. Pez for the United States, the only full combo left on their side. Boshi on a good recovery combo, but being matched by Sayo right now from the side of Australia. And there goes Boshi, man. mrekk will trade, so that's a better trade for the United States than for Australia. That full combo down now for Australia, and it's just Zintex left to match Pez. They both go down at the same time, and suddenly the combos are nearly wiped. It's only Takedo with some solid combo on the side of the United States, and he goes down as well. mrekk has a little bit for Australia. He goes down also right afterwards. It's just trade after trade here halfway through the map, as it's only 100,000 score lead for Australia and no combo anywhere on the field.
You can't keep cursing them, Dio. They're already dead. They keep falling down. This map is so difficult that it's so telling with how the combos are being held right now. Box holding the only significant combo we now see as everyone continues to break. Every time I look at a big combo to mention it, it just disappears immediately. But Australia with a pretty healthy gap right now, a third of the way left and 160k. I'd take that if I was them.
And some of this is the accuracy. Multiple 96s and high 95s for Australia. A couple of 94s, low mid 95s is the max for the United States. And that accuracy on OD10, it's tough. Azer mentioned it. It's playing a role in this map right now. A couple of more combo breaks. mrekk, Utami, Boshi, Pez all finding the breaks. But that's 3 of the Americans and only 1 Australian to find the drop. There goes the 4th in Takedo. And it's yet another break point probably to come through here for Australia. Sayo was holding that highest combo in the lobby, but will drop it. It's Zintex to drop as well as he follows up, but SecretBox and mrekk are holding combo once again, and it's a 200,000 score lead for Australia. It's going nowhere. It's going back the way of the Aussies, down under for the 3rd time this match.
I had to point attention to the last note here. It's here. I had to know if they were going to hit it. I think we only saw 3 misses on there. Pez showed up big, though. I mean, stepping in for his first map. This match, and I mean, not enough, but I think still top scoring his team there. I mean, every score around the same range, but I think you briefly mentioned about 1% or so average accuracy lead, I think, for the Australians here. So I think it's going to make the difference. And man, this is such a uncommon map. It must be so difficult to actually determine if you have an advantage on this, because how often are you ever going to see a almost 8-star AR9 aim-focused gimmick map in any tournament? Like this is so rare.
Unbelievable start to a match right here. And again, yeah, like you said, such an original map, so difficult to get a handle, especially on a Bungeon map. You know, that is just the way that they play through. And we are gonna go back to mechanics here, I imagine, for Australia. I would like to point out the current track record of this match. We did, of course, get Australia versus the United States in the 3rd place match last year in OWC in 2023. That match ended in a 7-1 victory for the United States. United States currently down by 2 points in Australia with 2 more than they had last year. This is the biggest turnaround that we have seen against any team in this late stage of the tournament, and Australia doesn't look to be stopping anytime soon, and they haven't even used up all of the mechanics maps left. I think Double Time 4, even though it's not purely in there, is still a good pick for them, not to mention Hard Rock 1, which Flow Amy might be contested, but they go for the DT4.
Oh, this should be interesting. This is one of the picks, I think, on paper that is pretty strongly favored for Australia here. Again, that's just on paper. Sometimes it's really hard. People play differently, you know, from week to week. But, I mean, we've mentioned this a bunch, right? Australia, the mech team here, even though this mostly just being an alt map, this is lots of mechanical difficulty in this. I think this should be a pretty tough one. And I think this also is a good adaptation because I think Sayo is still playing this. Sayo doesn't normally play the DTs, but I think I expect Australia to probably put in, I mean, obviously mrekk, but I think Box might sit out for this one, if I'm correct. I think Box does not like playing alt DT, so they're going to put in Zintex, aknzx, or and Sayo. So I have to wonder what is the answer here for this team. And these are a lot of players that have been playing super well so far. Yusei hasn't really had a standout performance too much. For the time being, I think there's a pretty decent opportunity to put some newer players. I don't think DANdism has played too much yet. DANdism is a really good player on this map, but I think you're likely to expect probably, I would say, Utami, DANdism, and two of Kama, Pez, or Rectagon. What do you think?
Perhaps. I think that, I mean, it's tough to count Window Life out for a double time, especially with, you know, how strong they are overall and how much we see Window on a DT like this. But I agree with you, you know, any combination, maybe Rectagon Taquito wouldn't be half bad for a map of this style, you know, a little bit more awkward, little alty focused on here. And Taquito is typing, so it does look like either in deciding slots or kind of waiting for everyone to switch around. There's Utami, and we're looking for that fourth for the United States now.
Going to assume it's Rectagon based on the chat, so that does make sense. Again, just going back again, I mean, USA has so many choices for so many of these maps, this being one of them. One more time, I think, where they have 5 or 6 capable players. Box is in for this, so no aknzx on this one. I suppose, I think aknzx is mostly just here for the tapping picks, I guess, and this map doesn't really have too much of that. It's really focused on alt, so interesting to see Box play this.
Currently, Australia up 3-1, looking to make it 4-1. A lot of these picks remaining in the pool, none of them really all that fast anymore. Throughout the tournament, this has been their bread and butter, is picking the DTs, picking the stuff that's faster, and just winning by virtue of being the speedier team. Even this map, you can't really just count that as an advantage. It is 218 BPM, but that's not all that fast in Grand Finals. Like Alex said, this is about the ult, this is about the flow aim, this is about the aim control, all at AR 10.3. This is a classic ult map that used to be used in no mod in lots of tournaments, and you can see some of this patterning is just ridiculous. Rectagon, Kama, Utami, SecretBox, Zintex, all finding misses. There goes Sayo as well. It's DANdism and mrekk to hold any combo here. Kama will pull up a 200 combo recovery by the end of that first Ki time. So it's just mrekk on the FC, but DANdism and Kama on some solid scores for the United States, and that's going to keep this score lead actually moving slightly the way of the United States. Another chain miss to come through for Zintex is going to put that solidly in their favor. Only about 30k right now, but still growing in favor of the US, with DANdism being on this reverse choke. But there goes Kama, the combo now down for that alt specialist member on the side of the United States, and there goes DANdism as well. Now suddenly that big combo is gone for the US. It's Utami and Rectagon with some solid recoveries, but SecretBox is matching one of them, and mrekk is still holding the FC. There goes Utami, there goes Rectagon, there goes SecretBox, there goes Zintex. Just about everyone missing in that Ki time, aside from the #1 player in the world, mrekk. Destiny for Australia on this map is in his hands.
The accuracy, it was holding the United States up so well with the combos, but how hard they fall when they fly high. Right now, it's all on mrekk. There's nothing the United States can do against this. They require a slip up, and when you're asking that to come from a player like mrekk, from the current number one, that is a tall order.
mrekk is looking to close out the full combo. We're over 3/4 of the way in. His FC alone has generated this 200,000 score lead for Australia, and he's keeping it going into the ending here. He finally finds the drop, but the damage is done. The point is won, and that is 4-1 for Australia. The combo breaks continue to come through here at the end of the map, and all said and done, it's still going to be about a 270k, 250k score lead for Australia. Decaton's combo will not be nearly enough here at the end. The score line not nearly close enough. That is 900,020 points for the number one player in this tournament and in the world. mrekk top scoring that map by a huge margin, and just straight carrying Australia to victory on that pick. What a performance.
Yeah, we're starting to wonder when we're going to feel the effect of having such a strong player on your team. Here it is. I mean, we talked about it. mrekk, of course, number one in the game for so long now, but even in this tournament, number one player in finals, number 6 in semifinals, number 4 in quarters, number 2 in qualifiers. This guy plays the game, and it's always a treat to watch. And now we're at an interesting turning point. I mean, usually, if you've been watching for a while and you're familiar with Australia's usual game plan, you know, we trade some maps, they pick all the speed, they pick all the mech, they win all of it, and then eventually they run out. This is not what's happening here. This didn't happen in this match. They're winning things that I don't think people are expecting them to win. I think it's throwing the USA off a lot here, and it's very exciting. I think the potential for Australia to have a shot of winning this now, 4-1 up, 5 maps in, is starting to become more real and real. We might actually be a part of a pretty special day today in the World Cup, I think.
Australia is currently running, out of all the maps that have been played, 4 of the top 6 players in the lobby right now. mrekk and Sio numbers 1 and 2 overall, and we finally see the Hard Rock come out for the United States. They've been waiting for it. It's a mod we usually see a little bit earlier from them, but the fact that they have waited this long to go in here does raise a couple of questions with a mod pool that has been untouched, and with a free mod 3 that ran 6 Hard Rocks going in the favor of Australia at the end.
I'm going to be honest, I don't like this pick. We'll see. Maybe I'm just really wrong about this one, but if there's one map outside of some outliers in the favor of the United States in finals, Hard Rock won last week, which was Roots, was over 1 million points in favor of Australia both times they played it. They were by very far the best team that played in finals on that map. It's not exactly the same as this one, but you know, Roots had a lot of alt focus types thing. It had a lot of everything, honestly. Not too much aim, but I think stylistically, Cardinal Rave is going to be pretty similar for this. So this is a very scary pick, in my opinion, for the USA. I think if they lose this, it's a bit dire. I think on paper, I would very strongly favor Australia for this one. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see, I think.
With the track record thus far, Australia's been favored on the mechanics. They've already won a non-mechanics map, kind of air-quoted thus far, pushing them to this 4-1 lead here. If by some reason the United States also lets this one slip away, that is not only Australia 1 away from match point, that goes back to their own pick, and there are still mechanics maps left up in this pool at this juncture with the skill cap required, and even on a map like Hard Rock 1 where you maybe do favor some players on the United States, the Rectigons, the Window Lives on that flow aim spacing Hard Rock, it's still a territory that Australia is very comfortable with and they have a roster for, which once again I think is just contributing to backing the United States into a bit of a corner right now.
there's so many players to look out for on this map. I could tell you about all 4 of the players on Australia here, all having their respective pop-offs at different points. I mean, Box last week did extremely good on Roots, but I mean, Sayo this match on the Hard Rocks has been incredible. Of course, there's mrekk, and of course, there's also aknz, which hasn't really had the moment to shine, but perhaps it's here. And I think on the opposite side here, I mean, of course, you have to look at Rekka, Hydrogen Bomb here. I think for this type of map, going to be pretty interesting to look at as well, but I think it's a bit of a tall order to pick this. I wonder if they have something up their sleeve here, maybe some hidden talents. We'll have to see.
These hard rock players for the United States are not to be underestimated still. Window Light's a very, very good hard rock tech player. Decayton, this is his specialty. This is what he is best at, is a hard rock unconventional maps. Alt and tech in hard rock is something that he is renowned for. Kama as well, usually one of the best finger control players in the lobby, has had a rough start on this map, but should be able to pull things together as we get further into it, as the players get adjusted to the map here. Into the first KI time, we'll see if that adjustment's happened for everyone. Rekka actually the first to miss on the United States, or rather second, after Kama with those early misses, but Fox will trade on the side of Australia. And now we get into that KI time proper, some more of this alt-focused, snappy, linear stream control. Everyone's still hitting these patterns, though. And it's not until we get into this big space stream that we find a miss from Decayton, the only one to find the drop on that pattern, and it's still Australia holding a slight lead, but Sayo will trade that miss out from Decayton just a little ways afterwards. It's still 2 full combos for Australia, aknz and mrekk holding those FCs, and just Window Light for the United States, but Kama on a massive recovery, Box matching Rekka, just a very, very small combo lead for Australia at the moment, but the score lead going nowhere, actually sliding slightly towards the United States. It looks like, just based off, once again, the accuracy playing that role for the US this time around.
There it goes for the United States. 2,000 points in their favor. It's so small, and they need this early score lead. Every single map thus far where we've seen Australia take even a minor lead at the start of a map, they have been able to capitalize that on.
Oh my God!
Huge breaks from Australia, though, and the United States may have just found their window.
I mean, that's the map, surely. That has to be 4-way break delayed there for Australia. Sayo breaks a little earlier on, and the 3-way miss comes through for ASecretBox and mrekk. It's only Kama to trade on the side of the United States. Window Light has 98.6 AK on this 1200 combo. Rekka has 900 combo with 97. Decayton has 98 now with the 760 combo. Even Kama, who found the break earlier, who had the rough start, is still above 98% AK. Nobody is matching that on the side of Australia, to say nothing of the combos, which have now pulled up a 300,000 score lead for the United States. They are crushing this pick here 3/4 of the way in. Even if everyone on Australia holds their combo into the end and the USA finds chain misses, it is still a tall order for Australia to win this. So Decayton, yes, he may be the last man standing, but they don't even need a last man standing on the United States. This one is well and truly over, and USA have thrown momentum back into their control.
The final stand, the golden hour for the United States, and preventing Australia from potentially going to match point on their next pick, and they needed it so badly. This is the momentum kicker. This is the point where the United States needs to make this switch. It's only one map. It may seem insignificant, but with the streak Australia was on, this means absolutely everything to them. And as they continue to increase this score lead and close out Hard Rock 3, all they can do is wait and hope that Australia's next pick is one that they are able to work their way into and get this match closer. And that's the United States. 2 points to 4. Australia still in the lead, but an advancement from the United States.
And that is the biggest score lead we've seen since that Free Mod 3 win for Australia, where Sayo needed to get 950k to generate that score lead. There's not a single member of the USA that popped off on this one. It's just the entire team being better this time around. And that right there is a team victory for the United States. Just about every single member on their team better than almost every member of Australia.
happy to be wrong about my prediction for that one. That was eventful. Oh, that one note in the middle that killed all of Australia was a bit of a surprise. But yeah, I mean, Window Life, Decadent here showing up very, very big. I think Decadent we talked about, but I mean, Window Life, not really for this type of map. We're used to seeing Window Life pop off for really speedy things. A lot more mechanic heavy picks, not necessarily hard rock tech. So interesting to see. You know, I think Chiller was right. Maybe never underestimate what they can do on the hard rocks there. But just to briefly touch on some of the scores, I mean, some of the players left early, it looks like. So some of the scores that we might have missed. aknzx had 441, mrekk had 436, Box had 381, and Sayo had 360, and we're going right back to speed.
Well, who saw this one coming? Raise your hand.
You can't see it, but I'm raising my hand too. I am.
It's so are 8,000 people, I think.
Where are the cameras?
Well, this map, I mean, you should be familiar with LMT mapping for this genre of music here, but 250 BPM, pure shred, very, very stylistically similar to what was Hard Rock 3 last week in Ainane. And that map ended up pretty close, actually. You know, you could say maybe just a run difference score-wise between these two teams. It was 250k in favor of the USA on that map, but things can change. The maps are very close. This one's going to be way faster. However, you don't have to put 4 hard rocks on this anymore, so maybe that changes things. And I mean, have we had a proper? I guess this would be the first proper speed pick this match. I think. I mean, Nomad 5 is not really speed, so.
I'd say so. I mean, you know, the United States thus far, they've done everything they can to try and avoid this skill set. You know, they went for that double DT ban, which is not something you see from them very often. And Australia, they've been, you know, like you said, you know, kind of picking those aim-oriented DT maps thus far really was kind of what they had to work with here. So going into pure tapping and stamina, again, it kind of comes down to the same thing we were talking about with that Hard Rock 3, right? And a couple of these other earlier picks where we are going to hit the point in this match, and both teams are going to have rosters for these maps. Australia is the mechanics favored team in this match. I think everyone has kind of come to expect that from them based on their performances in previous weeks, but that is not to say that the United States is able to potentially find an avenue into this. I mean, we are staring down the tunnel of the Window Life hydrogen bomb, a decimating pair right now for the United States that have continued to appear every single time, going up against Australia's Powerhouse 4, and they've got their work cut out for them, and I'm interested to see what Taquito and Pez are able to do to support them.
I wonder about mods. Both of these teams really, really like to put their strongest players on Nomad here. Surprised not to see Utami for a pick like this. It's going to be Pez coming in instead to run the Nomad, but expected mods for that. Taquito on the hidden, Rektigon on the hard rock, Box on the hidden, and Zintex on the hard rock as well, putting aknzx and mrekk on Nomad. This should be a pretty interesting map, I think. It should be close.
Gonna be a good one. We'll see if the hydrogen bomb drops. We'll see if Australia has their nuclear shelter to hide in, their secret box that'll keep them safe during this map. Whether or not these teams are prepared for the speed pick or not. It is a couple of speed specialists for the United States. Pez, despite dropping some really solid scores on some of the more gimmicky maps, has actually made a name for himself as one of the better speed players in North American tournaments as of recent. So you should be expecting good things from him as well. Window Life does find the earliest miss for either team. That is the first drop of the map so far, and it's another one from Rektigon there. ASecretBox did trade it out. There goes Zintex as well on the hard rock, so a couple of modded players dropping for Australia, but the two nomads still intact here. Aknz and mrekk still holding. There goes Aknz on the 1/3. Rektigon will trade it once again, but it's Taquito and Pez to hold the double FC for the United States, and only mrekk to hold on to that full combo for Australia.
Those strong players being the early ones to find the breaks on here. I mean, right, we were looking at Window Life and ASecretBox on both sides to hold it up here, but it's actually the United States on that Pez-Taquito combo, the two that we might not have focused on quite as heavily, and those are always the ones to be careful of, because it's just mrekk going up against that duo, and with supporting scores being built on either side and Zintex finding a break, Australia starts to let this map slip just a little bit, just before halfway though.
There's still quite a lot of map to go here. As you said, it's only a third of the way in, really. We're not even halfway through this. There goes Taquito. It is traded with ASecretBox, but you'll take that trade any day of the week as Australia. aknzx still on some supporting combo, but Window Life and Rekka are on better supporting combo for the United States. It is still that combo lead going their way, but it is still the matching full combos for mrekk and Pez determining the lobby right now. And there goes Rekka. That's that Hard Rock massive combo down for the United States. Akins and Zintex are holding just about similar supporting combo now to Window Life and Taquito. It's still the matching full combos, still just about matching combos overall in this map now. But 140,000 score lead for the United States, still out ahead by about a nose here. There's still quite a lot of map left to go, and any break from a large combo could swing things really quickly to either side.
This is the deciding two right now. It's mrekk, the #1 player in the world, versus Pez, the #1 player in the United States, actually, by North America tournament standards this past year, getting second only to Zudinator, and the guy drops, and he finally loses it, and now it's mrekk and aknzx right now, just Window Life to hold, and he won't be able to do it by himself.
Yeah, Taquito dropped as well when Pez found the break there. Zintex will drop it. There goes mrekk, and now suddenly Window Life is enough. It's only Akins for Australia. The rest of the roster has broken in short order, and Rekka's on a 700 combo right now with the Hard Rock, supporting that no mod carry score from Window Life. The biggest combo in the lobby, the highest score in the lobby, save for mrekk, who he should pass pretty soon if he's able to hold this combo on this map. And this is maybe the pop-off score for Window Life here. Finally, that highest score in the lobby as well for the American Speed Demon. This is his specialty. Yes, he's good at the Hard Rocks. Yes, he's good at some of those techie aim maps as well. But this is really what you put this guy on the roster for. And he's taking this opportunity to show it and to prove why he deserves it. He will finally find that miss there at the end, but not before securing the best score in the lobby. 717k for him. Akins not too far behind, just over that 700k mark as well, but it's just not going to be enough. The rest of the team better for the United States. 500k for Rekka, 500k from Pez, 430k from Taquito. All three of those members outscoring both Box and Zintex, the modded players for Australia, just not able to keep up on that map.
I can't believe Window Life missed the Spit Slider. He forgot. It's still there at the map, at the end of the map there, but solid performance. 2 maps in a row now with a massive Window Life pop-up for the American team here. Much needed after being down 4-1. And I briefly mentioned this when it was Rubik's Cube time, but this is definitely one of those maps where I think if you're taking a mod on this, you're tanking. It's not about the modded players on this, so big performance on the no mod here. Very, very important. And we're starting to get to the point in the pools now where finding picks you have advantages on can be pretty tricky here. I think what ends up happening a lot of the times when these games keep going this long is you really have to be good at adapting to what's actually been happening in the match. And, you know, if you have a plan and there's a lot of break picks going on, maybe that doesn't always work out. However, this was probably the only pick I had strongly in USA's favor. Last time I mentioned this for the Australian team on Cardinal Rave, it didn't go so well, but I mean, a lot of really, really good hidden tech and speed adjacent players here for the American team that are going to eat this map alive, I think. I mean, like, Taquito Utami on this, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing that.
I mean, who are the 2 biggest players you think of in this lobby when you see a hidden flow aim tech map in the grand finals map pool? Generally, those players are on the United States, and that's exactly what they're going for here. It was as predictable it was, it's still good to finally see them go for it, and at such a crucial point, too. I mean, this is the pick that potentially resets all of the work that Australia put in at the start of this match. Everything they did to get up 4-1 could be put to rest on this map right here.
Yeah, and there's really not much of the pool left after this, right? Both of these teams, if they keep trading picks, are only going to have 2 more picks remaining. We're starting to run out already, so might end up seeing almost the entire pool being played here, but we're gonna have to see this one first. It's gonna be Kama and Rectagon, looks like, coming in for the other part of this. I'm just gonna assume Utami's gonna be stepping in for this, but on Australia's side here, I think there's one question I have on my mind here, which is a player we have not seen play this match, I believe, which would be O/, kind of their resident like hidden tech player. However, lots of speed in this one. This has a lot of 1/8 chain triples, essentially 330 BPM triples in this one with very little breaks in the middle of crazy flow patterns. Definitely on the higher side of difficulty, just raw difficulty, I think, on this map, and I think the skill set required to play them might be a little specific, so it doesn't look like O/ is going to be stepping in for this one for the side of Australia, so we're going to be seeing more of the usual, really. I mean, it's pretty much the same 5 players swapping in and out for Australia here, but Sao going to be coming in for this one.
And this is a bit of a different roster, I think, from what maybe some people expected for the United States. Takeiten, Kama, Taquito, and Window Life in for this one. Not, I think, the hidden players on the United States, aside from Taquito, that a lot of people expect for this. I think almost everyone would think Utami is probably in for this. Usually a very, very solid hidden player, and especially tech player, but these players also still very, very good tech players. I mean, we saw Window Life in on the Hard Rock 3, we saw Kama and Takeiten in on the Hard Rock 3 as well. So not entirely surprising, but I think a little surprising not to see Utami in particular for something like this in the hidden pool. A couple of early breaks coming out here from Kama and Zintex, but everyone else still holding on the full combos. There goes Sayo, though, on the side of Australia. It's Kama to trade once again, but still going to favor the United States there with 3 full combos left intact. There goes SecretBox and Zintex as well. And suddenly, already, it's just mrekk holding on to the FC for Australia. Takeiten will trade one of those misses out for the side of the United States, but that's not enough. Window Life and Taquito both still holding the full combos, and more frequent misses from the rest of this Australia roster. And suddenly, the roster concerns for the US just don't seem like they matter on this map at all.
Absolutely nothing given to Australia at the start of this map. The United States has had a lead since the very beginning, and they are still maintaining it right now, although once again, it's that name we keep seeing over and over. It's mrekk, and as we see Kama and Taquito fall, that leaves 1 combo left, but it's mrekk to find the break in Window Life, looking to bring the United States to the finish line and tie this match up.
It is Window Life, the player who just last map on the free mod 4 found the highest score in the lobby, once again top scoring here, the only full combo left on either team, the only combo above 400 on either team. SecretBox just cresting that number, but Window Life a good 600 ahead of him on the FC, 98.85 accuracy as well. The only player with higher AC in the lobby was Takeiten. Window Life will finally find the break, but the damage is done. That is 300,000 score in favor of the United States, and yeah, there's some combo on Australia. SecretBox has a solid 600. Sayo has some. Zintex had some, but it's just never going to be enough here at the end unless the entirety of the United States starts chain missing all over the place. And with Sayo finding that break as well, Taquito is still holding some combo for the United States, and the score lead still being what it is. This pick also just well and truly over. There goes SecretBox to cleanly cut the chance off for Australia. And the United States, Window Life, credit where it's due, not usually a player you associate with hidden finger control tech. He is going to find the top score. He is going to bear the flag for the United States and lead them to victory on this hidden 3.
This is the one. We talked about it before, right when the map pick came out, and there it is. It has come to fruition. The United States, they looked down. Dare I say, they looked out for a little bit in 4-1, but they continue to prove that they are not done. They are willing to fight just as hard as Australia is, and we go 4-4, and that leaves 2 picks left per team before we hit tiebreaker territory.
I'm amazed that out of the names that are not only in the lobby, but not even playing them, like the reserve players for this Window Life on a flow aim hidden tech map, finding MVP is insane. This is such a honestly, very required resurgence for the USA here with Widowlife. Basically getting MVP, popping off 3 maps in a row after it was looking really dire. And I mean, we got here in a very different way than usual, but would you know it, we're all tied up 4-4 now. It wasn't really the way it usually goes. It wasn't just Australia winning all the speed picks. So this is pretty interesting. 2 maps left here to pick for both sides. And Australia's pick here, I mean, so you have at some point, you have to start to consider what is Window Life not playing in this pool, if that's even a thing, because you have to stop this momentum somehow at some point, right? So it's going to be a pretty hard thing to look out for here. I think the only thing that could perhaps come to mind is Nomad 4, but that map is so incredibly difficult. Looks like it's going to be Shinkokyuu Hidden 1 here. I think a lot of people would consider this to be the most stable, easiest map in the pool. It is very straightforward. It's just aim, but it's 260 BPM with a lot of triples on this. By pretty far, I think the most comfortable map in this entire pool. I think average score in this is going to be pretty high. We've already seen a couple of players just like FC this on their site reads, so this should be pretty interesting. I think if we're ever going to see some high scores on this, it's going to be on a map like this, especially from these 2 teams.
3 minutes and 5 seconds of, mind you, high BPM. This is 260 BPM aim on the hidden pool. Not only something that the United States has plenty of players for, but Australia using this high BPM to their advantage, right? That, you know, aim, even with hidden on, for a lot of players, especially at this AR and at this BPM, kind of becomes almost the equivalent to playing like a low BPM DT map just with hidden preference on the side. Like, you know, the AR is high enough to make it match up, and then you've got that faster big aim. It's about the consistency after a certain point, and Australia, to find the consistency is something that they've been 50-50 on when it comes to being able to perform here, and they're going to need to come up big against the United States. We've seen super awesome clutches from a lot of their players putting up big scores, and we're going to probably need to see it from more than just 1 or 2 people, especially on a pick like this, where both teams are fighting for control of this match. And these next 2 picks right here, I know we have 2 per team left, but I'd say this one and the following pick are the 2 that are really going to decide this here, depending on what side they go to.
I have to bring something up here. This was one more map that I think there's not a realistic amount of data to go off of from OWC specifically, since either this style of hidden pick just hasn't been played by either of these teams or any teams at all, or just hasn't really been in the later pools here. So definitely, I think going off of player knowledge for this one to try to find an advantage in this pick here. But it should be pretty interesting. There's another part of this I kind of wanted to mention as well, but keep in mind the winner of this has to play Korea in the grand finals tomorrow. So you start to wonder at what point, or if either of these teams are trying to maybe hide information on a few of these picks that are super uncertain, such as this one. I don't think they're even considering it, because we've already seen a lot of those picks I think that would apply to this. We've seen Rubik's Cube instantly. We've seen the Nomad 2 as well, which has a lot of uncertainty, and we're seeing this one as well. So I have to be curious if there's anything left to hide score-wise from Korea tomorrow here for either of these teams.
Well, unfortunately, a couple of misses early on for Australia here, as ASecretBox and aknzx both finding the misses in the first 150 combo or so. It is Utami 1 trade, but within the first 10 combo, so effectively still a full combo here for everyone on the United States out of the intro. Zintex also missing about 210 combo in. Not going to be good for Australia. There goes to Kaiten. It is 1 miss to match there from the side of the United States, and again, the accuracy favoring Australia overall. Rectagon, Utami also missing during this section. Zintex will trade it out, but overall the combo now back in the favor of Australia. Zintex and Utami trade once again. It's just Taquito versus the FC from mrekk, but the better supporting combo on the side of ASecretBox right now for Australia. aknzx does find the miss there on that big back and forth pattern. Kaiten will trade it out, so the supporting combos reset for both teams, but ASecretBox still holding here for Australia, and Australia off to an early start after a shaky intro. They're able to pull some supporting combo back, more misses to come through for everyone besides mrekk. There goes mrekk and Taquito. Both the FC's gone now, and it's just the combo on Rectagon, as all three other members of the United States have also missed in short order, and the score lead going right back the way of the United States halfway through. Rectagon is going to pull this lead back to them slowly but surely. It is only 300-400 combo for Rectagon, but that is enough to bring this score lead back. Nobody else is close to that number in this lobby.
We're looking for that big hold for the United States right now. Again, we've talked about being just even a slight score margin ahead has usually led to a victory of quite a large amount by the end of a map. And right now, everyone is just building up combos, but aknzx and Utami both finding breaks in this lower intensity section before we get into the next TI. And this is where this map could potentially be decided. It's 3 combos, and there goes Rectagon, and that may be the start.
It's the start of something here as players are continuing to miss. Zintex the next to fall. Taquito shortly after him. It's SecretBox and mrekk versus Decaton. SecretBox falls right after Decaton, right after him as well. It's Utami and Atkins matching, and mrekk, the only high combo in the lobby. Will he fall as well afterwards? It's been one after the other for these combo breaks, but mrekk, the exception to the rule, the only one to hold for Australia. He's bringing it home, but it's not secure yet. It's only 50k in their favor. Utami still has combo for the United States, but if mrekk holds, there is nothing that combo can do. And there goes Utami as well. mrekk, the exception to the rule, the #1 player. He will find the highest combo, he will find the highest score, and he will find the carry performance that Australia needed the most. Tied up 4-4, losing the last 3 maps in a row. Australia, the momentum was not on their side, but a single play like that can be all it takes to shift everything back your way, and mrekk is the player to do it for this team.
It was looking grim for Australia for a bit, losing 3 points in a row, but they make it work on the back of the best player in the world. Australia, the United States, 2 points left per team to get to match point, to get to that tiebreaker, and with that hidden 1 pick, Australia accomplishes 50% of their job. That's half the battle done. The United States still has all of it to go through. And what will they start with?
It's such a hard decision at this point. I mean, so few maps are remaining here. I think the options are really starting to thin out here. I mean, 1 pick left for Australia here, no matter what, I think. And 2 on the side of USA here. Worth noting as well, there was a lot of delay on that one. I think there was a connection issue somewhat, so Decaton got to leave the lobby early, but did get 395,000 points. And we're going into CS 7.8, everybody. Zoom in, I guess. This is gonna be this is pretty much just a regular map. Not really a lot of interesting sorry, that's the wrong word to use. There's not a lot of gimmicks or anything with this. It's a very straightforward normal map. It's just CS6 base, so 7.8 here, and it's still a lot of aim for this one. And I mean, this type of skill set notoriously here, just hyper precision. When you're playing, you know, OWC Grand Final stage, I think is a little tough on people, but USA historically pretty good at these. So I wonder who they decide to come in to bring in for this. Maybe Bashi is back for this. Bashi tends to like a lot of precision, so I would expect that. And there he is.
Like it. I think you know, with Australia, the United States, and the history these 2 teams have had on precision, again, it generally falls back to the United States on these Hard Rock picks. It's one of those mods that the United States usually has pretty under wraps versus a lot of teams in this tournament. I'm not surprised that they continue to potentially look at this area, especially I mentioned a while back that they avoided Hard Rock for such a long time at the start of this match, which was very surprising for them. Usually, you know, something they would go into earlier, but maybe like you were saying, trying to hide some of that from South Korea. You know, Australia, luckily for them, if they were able to come out on top here for this match at the end, you know, they've hidden DTs 2 and 3 from South Korea going up into that grand finals matchup, so they've got a couple of maps hidden as well. But the United States, they're going to have no opportunities to do that anymore. They have to pull out all the stops right now on both sides, and Australia with those hidden now have to look for something after this to go through, but they could potentially make this work. This is the match point opportunity for Australia on a very mechanics-focused precision map, but the United States, they have given no way into Hard Rock thus far.
One more thing noting with this one, as we appreciate this very slow and easy intro to the song. They did both play the Precision Hard Rock pick last year, but it was a very, very different style of map. Hitorie by Mordred was very flow aim heavy, and that one was essentially dead even. But that was pretty much just Rectagon and mrekk with no help. I wonder if that's going to be the case for this one here as well, but this map style is pretty different, so good chances that it's going to be different.
And different already from how the United States would have liked, at the very least. Pez and Boshiman finding those early breaks for the United States. Only mrekk to break right at the start of the map. First 30 combo or so for him, finding the drop there. Syntax to follow up with the next one for Australia. Rekka for the United States, and suddenly only the Caden on the full combo. There he goes as well. It's ASecretBox and Sayo still holding these full combos for Australia. mrekk on a good recovery, higher than either Pez or Boshiman in terms of the combo. But there goes Sayo, one of those FCs down now for Australia. Decaton and Pez will trade it out. Sayo will break once again, but it's just back and forth once again here on the Hard Rock 2. There goes Boshi, there goes ASecretBox, there goes Zintek, there goes Pez, there goes Sayo as well. It's mrekk, Rekka, and Decaton to hold a little bit of combo for either team here during this first KI time, as everyone else falls one after the other. There goes Rekka and Decaton, and it's just mrekk to hold now. Australia, they have the one carry player you might want in a pool this difficult. If you had to pick one, it might just have to be mrekk, and for Australia, it most certainly is. He has been finding these wins for them when it matters the most, tied up 4-4 to bring them that next point, to bring the momentum back, and then to carry it over into the first half of this Hard Rock 2.
And this is looking to be the closest Australia has gotten to revenge against the United States. Looking back just to the semifinals weekend, the last time these two teams faced off, the United States breaking Australia from Tiebreaker by only one map. Well, Australia's looking to do that to the United States potentially by 2. It's 120,000 points, and it's a third of the way left to go in the map. It's certainly not called yet, but with the breaks coming out from both sides right now, anyone is able to take this. The United States closing 30,000 score, though, in that one section, and the accuracy favoring them just slightly. There's 5 breaks.
Oh my god.
What was that?
Massive set of breaks there, but it's Decaton, the one big combo for the United States, now gone, finds the chain miss on the stream, and the score lead right back to 70k in favor of Australia. mrekk still holding some combo. Rekka has a little bit for the United States. It's more chain misses from Sayo and ASecretBox. The chain misses here at the end could be the deciding factor. Rekka and Zintek will trade, but there's more misses coming from Australia. And despite this combo from mrekk, it might just not be enough. A couple of more misses to come out from Pez, Boshiman, and mrekk. It's only 10k in favor of Australia. Decaton holding here at the end of the map could just be the difference maker. It's more misses for Australia, and they're getting it over at the end here. Decaton, Rekka, Pez will trade in short order. Boshiman will also find the break, but I don't think it's going to be enough at the end of the map. It's just not there for Australia, and by the skin of their teeth, the United States somehow find a way to make it work, and they will tie us up 5-5 by nearly 31,000 points off the back of what just seemed like chain miss after chain miss, break after break all over the place from both sides. Somehow, when the dust settles, the reigning champs are on top.
Unpredictable is the only word I can use to describe this match. As confident as Australia has been at the start, as powerful as the United States has pushed through these last few picks, we have finally come down to the final picks for both teams. Half the job done, half the job to go. One map each, and we are looking the closest we've seen to tiebreaker since the semifinals between these two teams. We are back once again, and it's Australia to start us off here. Alex, where the hell do they go?
I'd love to know that too. I'm not gonna lie. Not a lot of options remaining. Let's go over some of the maps that are left. We've got the Arles-1-1, which is 6 minutes, by the way. 6 minutes map. It's an Arles map. Very just standard mechanics here to go. Unravel, which I think has a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of really arguably RNG patterns with this one. We've got Organics Decay, which might be the hardest map ever in OWC, I think, at least accuracy wise. So it is very much a slider aim focused pick for them. They are going to use the timeout, so that's a good idea at this point, I think. Much needed, I think, for both teams. But I think, Organics Decay, again, I don't think there's a lot of precedent for this one. It's hard to decide to go for that one. So that leaves me with two more maps. We've got Bad For Me, which people might know. This is a love map, I believe. On Hard Rock 1, very flow aim mechanics heavy Hard Rock 1 here, which is an option perhaps, but I mean Window Life's kind of been playing those pretty well, so I don't think Australia are going to want to look for that. So that leaves you to Back to the Future Fremont 1 here, which is also I think more just a standard aim pick you could describe here. It's just pretty it's pretty dense at the AR that it's set at. I think if I had to pick any of these maps for Australia here, based on what they've been picking, I think they've kind of been enjoying the aim a lot in their picks. So Nomad 1 or Fremont 1 could be good. However, I don't think the aim picks have necessarily been going super well for them either. So, I mean, their victories have mostly just been, I mean, Rubik's Cube was their largest one by far. And then most of it was, I guess it wasn't even speed. I mean, Nomad 5 is kind of an aim map. Nomad 2 is kind of an aim map. And Hidden 1 was pretty close as well, so maybe they're looking at, I think, trying to get in their heads right now, probably looking at a map, I would say. So I think that's what that leaves you. I think all of the remaining ones are good options. Unravel and Organics Decay, I don't think is Australia's to pick if we're going to see those today. But I'm pretty curious. There should be a little bit of time left on the timeout. So while that's happening, I think it's worth really emphasizing how insane it must be. Ooh. More Hard Rock. Okay.
Ooh.
How insane it must be to be in the situation right now for both teams having to play a CS 7.8 map that we've just seen when you're almost at tiebreaker points for both sides here on lower bracket grand finals, where both sides winning here would make OWC history for no matter the result, right? For both of these teams, and having to focus and lock in on playing CS 7.8 must be so incredibly stressful for them. So definitely earned the timeout here, I think. Going back to more of a regular map here, Shelly, you're probably familiar with this one. Bad For Me. Lots of flowing streams in this one, you would say.
This is a tough call for me. I've given Hard Rock to the United States entirely thus far, but Australia, as good as they are for mechanics, does provide them a lot of benefits with stream and flow aim, and that's something that they are looking at. But we're staring down to the face of an absolute demon on this map, and his name is Rectigon, has a full combo on this map with Hard Rock from quite a while ago, and I imagine is very comfortable with this sort of thing. We're looking for a big step up here from Australia. We're looking for mrekk, we're looking for Box, and we're looking for those supporting scores from both sides on those two. I'm imagining it's something along the lines of Pez Rectigon Window Life for the United States, but I don't know. This third place match could come down to a C-Mob flow aim map. 200 BPM, high spacing, especially towards the ending. And this is But I think maybe Australia's last possible chance at getting to this tiebreaker, because the United States, they're going to go in after this. They're going to pick something like no mod 3, no mod 4, no matter what happens here. And going into tech against that roster is a tall order. Australia has come up big on the flow aim and the mechanics thus far. The United States looking a little bit more shaky on this than they have with other skill sets compared to the other Hard Rocks. And we're seeing mrekk, Box, aknzx, and Sayo, and then that Pez, Window Life, Rectagon joined by Decaton. And these are your 8 players to decide this map.
Looking at Window Life for this one, I think. 3 maps carried for a lot of their picks, including Hard Rock 3 before. So we'll see if he can do it one more time.
One more time for both of these teams. Once more into an uncertain map for either of these rosters. The pool whittled down to just a little bit left. Just a few picks, really, remaining for either team that seem viable. This is definitely one of those ones that I think a lot of these players are going to be very comfortable with, as everyone holding the FC in the intro here. This map takes a little bit to start up, but with this stream, that's really where it finds its groove. ASecretBox, Sayo, Window Life, mrekk, all finding the breaks early on here. Aknz also dropping in the first KI time, and that's disaster for Australia. Pez, Decaton, and Rectagon all still holding. Decaton and Pez will drop shortly afterwards, but Rectagon still holding strong for the United States. There is, however, better recovery for Australia. ASecretBox, Sayo, mrekk, all holding better combo than anyone besides Rectagon on the United States. So this score lead, despite it looking pretty bad for Australia during the middle of that first KI time, doesn't jump out all that much for the United States. It's only 20k going into the second chorus.
Goes Pez with that combo drop, but that's the lowest accuracy on the team. You want to see the breaks repeat from him. Sayo to find the break and now to trade it out. All eyes on Rectagon. The United States with a triple break, and that continues to give this over to Australia, but they are not in the clear until we see that bottom right-hand corner find a miss for the United States. Rectagon going to make this very difficult. Australia, they can hold the lead here. They can hold the score, but as long as this one combo maintains, they cannot run away with it. They must maintain. And as we come into the final third, here comes the hardest part of the map, the spacing, the intensity. This is it.
This is the end here. Aknz will find the drop, but it's ASecretBox and mrekk holding the big combos for Australia. It's just Rectagon still to hold for the United States. There's a little bit on Pez. He's gone now as well. Window Life, the only support here for Rectagon. It's still on a knife's edge here for either of these teams. More misses come through for Aknz. There goes Window Life as well. The huge space stream claims Box, and Sayo falls right afterwards. It's mrekk versus Rectagon on the ending here, and Rectagon is the first to fall. That's it. That's going to be the map, Australia. mrekk at the end here. With enough support through the rest of the map will be enough to take this map. Hitting the ending on this is absolutely massive for mrekk and for Australia. It is the world. It is everything for them. It is their run in this World Cup alive and well, thanks to mrekk on this map, and thanks to Box, thanks to Aknz and Sayo, who still drop at least 400k each. The support from these players is exactly what you need to have for that pop-off score to matter. mrekk and Rectagon match each other, and it's the support making the difference for Australia in the end. To be clear, they don't win without that pop-off from mrekk. They don't win without that massive score, but the other 3 supporting players are crucial for them to have the lead on that pick, and for them to take the United States to match point.
They've done it. They made it work. 100% of the job done to force the match point. In Australia, they get their redemption from semifinals, missing out on their chance at tiebreaker. Not only now do they have a chance to bring this match to tiebreaker for the United States, but they could potentially close this one out, fully eliminating the reigning champions from the tournament, in a third place matchup. The United States, they have only 4 maps to pick from. No Mod 1, no Mod 3, no Mod 4, and free Mod 1. It comes down to this. They cannot make a mistake. They cannot falter. This is the final stand for them.
What did they even go with at this point, too? Like, no Mod 1, it's AIM, Australia wants that. Free Mod 1, it's AIM, Australia wants that. That leaves you with, again, 2 of probably the most RNG maps, and we're not going to be seeing those. Back to the Future is going to be the final United States pick here. And, I mean, it's more AIM. I'm pretty scared for seeing what Australia's been doing. A lot of the AIM picks for this one. Man, who do you think's playing this one, Ilya?
I don't even know what to say. I can't actually even say that I thought the United States would pick this. I thought they would go for the super difficult tech map because it's the United States. So what even happens now? I mean, this map it's comfortable for the hidden players. It's not low AR, and the circles are a perfectly normal size, which also means that it's comfortable for Hard Rock. Who cares about anti-mod? This is every mod, the map. And we already saw 4 mods taken when we saw free mod 3 earlier on in this match. The question is, do we see overmod again from these 2 teams on a pick like this? What happens? Think so. At match point? Like,
surely not. At least no Hard Rock. I mean, Hard Rock for this is just going to be strictly harder, I think. But, I mean, AR 9.3 still fairly readable, but at this BPM, pretty dense still. I think it's going to be more of the same here for this one. 2 of the no mod carries on both sides. Expecting pretty similar mods, I think, as well. I mean, Takedo hidden, Rectagon Hard Rock, probably Box on the hidden, Zintex Hard Rock on the side of Australia for this one. It's worth noting, even though this is 240 BPM, this map has like literally 1 speed part at the very beginning, and that's it. The rest of it is purely just an aim map. Pretty straightforward for the rest of that, and I mean, I don't even know if either team has really found any sort of advantage on these types of straightforward maps. They've been trading a lot, so many breakpoints throughout the course of this match, I would say, but I gotta wonder. I mean, normally I think I wouldn't really be putting Window Life on this one, but again, USA needs a carry. So far, the only stand-up performances on any of these maps has been Window Life. Everybody's kind of been playing more of the same, I would say. None of these other victories have had a particular carry. So, wondering if he's in for this one. It doesn't look like Window Life is in for this one. So we're going to be seeing Decade, Takedo, Tommy, and Rectagon. They could maybe have 2 hiddens. No. So Tommy going to be put on the no mod here. Kind of expected. Again, putting just the strat of putting your strongest players on the no mod here. Make it as comfortable as possible. And here we go. We are potentially staring at USA's final map in the US World Cup here.
It's the hidden for SecretBox to match Takedo. It's the Hard Rock for Zintex to match Rectagon. It's the double no mod for Decade and Utami and mrekk and Sayo on either side. But a staunch lead for the United States here to start things out. SecretBox and Takedo will trade on the hiddens, but Sayo really having a tough time on those intro streams on the no mod. Definitely not their 4th speed player. That would be aknzx. And SecretBox trading with Rectagon on the alt patterns there. So it's another set of misses for the United States. It's a better trade for Australia, but still 2-2 in the full combos. mrekk Zintex versus Decade and Utami. The no mods, crucially, still intact for the United States. In grand finals, you want that to be the case, but Decade will find the drop here for the United States about a third of the way through, and now suddenly the combo lead back the way of Australia. Just a little bit, though. Takedo's recovery is there, and Rectagon is on some of a recovery combo also, but this score lead still going back the way of Australia, and slowly getting better and better for them as well, as Sayo's act continues to improve after dropping down to the mid-80s on the starting streams, now up at 96, closing in on 97, but there goes Zintex. It's traded with Decade, and that's one of those big combos down for Australia. That's an FC drop
Now it's just mrekk. Yes, you have Sayo's supporting combo, but it's very, very close overall. And there goes Sayo as well on the Nomad. And now suddenly it's just mrekk and Box with a little bit of combo fear for Australia. Takedo will trade it. It's Utami and Rektagon versus mrekk and Box here halfway through.
There goes the Katen. Box Syntax, big chain misses there. That was 40,000 score immediately for the United States, and it's mrekk standing on a pedestal on his own. Will he make it work? There goes Rektagon, that supporting 700 combo. That was huge for the United States, and they break that. It's mrekk and Utami, the current #1, the best player in this match thus far, versus the previous best player for the United States, who have made their return this year, holding down the first to break, potentially to decide this map. But it's 160,000 in favor of the United States, a quarter of the way left in the map. It's still possible, but the United States, they must make this work now. There is no room for error. It's mrekk and Utami. Box finds the break and Utami misses.
Is there enough time left? mrekk has to hold this FC, and the rest of Australia has to stop these chain misses coming through. Box, Zintex, Sayo all finding these misses, and Takedo still holding the combo for the United States. It's still 100,000 score lead for the United States. It's doable. It's coming back to Australia, but mrekk needs to hold, and he needs some help from the rest of the roster. These misses keep coming through for Australia, and Takedo on the hidden is continuing to hold down the fort. They miss simultaneously, and that is it. That is the map. The United States will take it by 60, 70K by the end of the map. And ladies and gentlemen, everyone watching at home, everyone praying for a close map and close match between these teams, we are getting our wish. We are going to tiebreaker in the grand finals.
It's happened. They made it work. Down 4-1, back tied 6-6. We see it. We missed it last weekend. And we return once again. Australia, redemption time for them, getting brought down before TB. And now, the precipice of this match, of the tournament. This decides it all. One final map, one stand, 5 minutes, 49 seconds. 230 BPM and 8.5 stars by Camellia. It's Operation Zenithfall.
I can't believe we're seeing this on this match. It really went the entire way, the whole distance. Despite mrekk having such a crazy performance on that. Not enough. Operation Zenithfall, everybody. It's time. Huge collab here. Massive, massive collab. Just the mappers alone. We've got Mir, we've got Funny, Halia, we've got Hoibot coming into the end, we've got Sing to wrap it up, and it's hard. This tiebreaker, I mean, we didn't really ever get the chance to talk about this in a match context here, but it's a very balanced one. Of course, the core of this being 230 BPM means, you know, you need a certain baseline level of speed of this, but there's not really any stamina part of this. There's not a lot of really long-winded, speedy sections here. Lots of aim and lots of tech for the most part. It's just need to get that initial barrier, just being able to be comfortable with this BPM, which I think everyone that is playing this probably is. I don't think either of these teams are going to have any problems with speed on this. But man, who is playing this? Who is playing this?
Can we just get an 8v8 on this map? Can we just change the format of the tournament for this one map to see how both of these teams do in full strength at this point? Is that allowed? Because I don't want to have to pick who I think comes in for this map, because I don't know who wins this map. There's a lot of tech-favored elements in this map, but it's also high BPM, and it's also got a lot of bursts and a lot of mechanically favored sections. And again, this is tiebreaker. This comes down to consistency. This is who holds their nerve, who has the experience, who is locked in, dare I say, for this moment right now. And at this very second, we see them come together. We see Good Luck Have Funds, Window Life, Takedo, Utami, Rektagon versus Zintex ASecretBox, aknzx, and mrekk. The final stand. The reigning champions versus the underdogs fighting for their best finish ever. And in 6 minutes, we will have our winner.
Dio, Operation Cinema. It's here.
Operation Cinema is here. Australia is chasing history right now. They are looking to make history happen here, to write their own story as the agents of the USA's downfall for the first time in, it would be 6 years, a 6-year consecutive streak broken if the United States lose here and Australia wins. The USA, they are looking to keep their streak alive. They are the final boss. Forget this map. The United States is the final boss of the OS World Cup. They are looking to keep that reputation and that streak alive to go for 7 in a row against South Korea. Can they pull it off? Is this roster still the same United States we've all come to know and fear in the World Cups?
Starts now, the intro gone, and here we go. Map kicks up, text sliders back and forth, and we are into this immediately. Easy intro, no more, and we're already seeing breaks. It's 3 combos remaining, and that's 3 that will potentially determine the entire first quarter of this map as the United States starts early.
They start early, but this is so long. This is 3,000 combo in this map. It's 230 BPM base. There's so much to go through here, and we're only a quarter of the way into the map. It's only a 27,000 score lead, and now going back the way of Australia a little bit here. That break for Taquito, though, was Bancho. aknzx, it looks like, have found real misses, however, for Australia. Window life there next to break for the United States. It's a traded miss from Zintex, but you need those breaks to be traded if you are Australia here. mrekk, your only full combo, needing some support here, needing those combos to build back up as Rekka and Utami, the dynamic duo here for the United States, continue the double full combo for the reigning champions and bring the score lead up to nearly 90,000. 25,000 on a tiebreaker is not that much, but with sections like this, 90,000, 100k is quite a bit to claw back in a tiebreaker.
That's the difference of 1FC right now. Window Life and Taquito continue finding breaks, and that's what's giving Australia their breathing room in here. As long as mrekk maintains this combo, there is still an open window of opportunity. There is still a chance we see a break from the United States. Utami falls below 98% accuracy. Rekka looks to push 99 alongside Window Life, and mrekk stands with aknzx and Zintex now into the halfway point of the map. That's 50% gone, and a double FC holding for the United States into the next section versus only mrekk. Here come the streams, here comes the breakdown. Final half starts now.
This is the United States. This is the United States OS World Cup team. These two at the bottom row, that is who you're looking at right now. Utami and Rekka. Window Life and Taquito, yeah, they'll trade some misses out, but they're still close to 200k. They're still matching the supporting combos for Australia. Rekka and Utami are matching mrekk right now, and he is the only one who holds that FC for Australia. There finally goes Rekka, but there needs to be another miss from Utami, and mrekk also needs to hold this FC for Australia. Utami and mrekk both make it through that slider jump section, but so does Window Life. There goes Utami. That's it. That's the miss Australia needed. Can mrekk hold long enough to claw back an absolutely colossal 190k score lead? You cannot emphasize enough how ridiculously huge that lead is on a tiebreaker, and he will not find it. The Space Stream will claim him, and there is no combo alive anywhere on Australia. Zenithfall may be the tiebreaker, but the zenith of the OS World Cup, the reigning champions, the kings of kings, the United States, will not be falling on this tiebreaker.
In the ending, 500,000 score for two separate players. mrekk with 550k, the highest score in the match. But it's those two on bottom. It's Utami, it's Rectigon. They did what they needed to, and they both break. It's window life to hold the ending, but it's 200k and climbing, less than a quarter of the way to go. We don't call it early, but the United States has made it work. They've fought their way back through adversity, through losers bracket once again. They will make a return to the winners bracket to face off against South Korea as Australia, with an amazing team performance, pushes through, but once again fall to the strongest team the OS World Cup has ever seen.
This map at this point, this tiebreaker is over. And unfortunately, that is going to mean Australia's run is over as well. It's a huge 625k and climbing for mrekk, the top scorer in the lobby. But Rectigon and Utami both putting up above 500k, and nobody else in the entire lobby above 370k right now as we close into the ending slider art, means that this is the United States victory. Australia, they are now still a team chasing history. They're down and out this year, but the expectations around these 8 players compared to 2023 from this year changed significantly. Before last year, the highest this team had ever placed in OWC was top 6. Last year, they finally broke down the wall Germany had built up as a consistent top 3 team and made their own way into the top 3 through winners bracket. This year, the expectations were higher, the stakes were different. Time, however, has finally told all of us that Australia's run last year through the winners bracket was no fluke, that this team is truly deserving of their top 3 finish both this year and last, and that this Australian team may become the new bar for top 3 in the OS World Cup. They may not yet be the secret final box for some teams to check off, but they certainly have their heroes putting up legendary performances to show us all one thing: empires always fall, dynasties are never guaranteed, and the final boss, even in the toughest of games, is always made to be beaten. This year, however, is not their year to finish their game. It is not their year to beat the final boss. The United States, that historic final boss of the OS World Cup, after their historic loss to South Korea in the winners finals, they rally the troops once again, and they give proof that their flag is always in the grand finals. This is now the 10th year in a row that we will see the United States of America in the OS World Cup Grand Finals. They are the final boss of OWC. They are the team to beat. And while they may have been fighting for survival in this match, the history and the legacy of this team speaks for itself. They have once more preserved the pride of Team USA OWC and advanced once more into the Grand Finals, once more into the fray, once more into the fight of their lives against their longtime rival, South Korea.
Every once in a while, a team comes along that is just nothing short of exceptional. Special, might I even add. And Australia was that team this year. Their strongest run ever, despite finishing in the same place as last year. They went from only taking a singular point against the United States last year to dragging them to tiebreaker, almost winning before tiebreaker in that case as well. And they are a team to be feared in the future. They continue to improve, they continue to turn heads, and they continue to gain fans and momentum in their favor. But it's the United States to advance. It's South Korea and the USA in grand finals. Once again, a second chance for them to put the United States down in the winner's bracket slot. And it's Australia with one of the most valiant third place finishes I have ever seen in the OS world.